What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Rats Report. It's time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because Pascal Siakam has been in the trade rumors quite a bit, and we've got about 6, 7, 8 different news sources to break down regarding his trade speculation and how all of this may have taken a little bit of a twist. I will be discussing all of that in today's video. So if you're ready to watch, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's video goes out to MTJ Neverland 24. So thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. Now let's talk about the Pascal Siakam trade rumors. It was being reported that the Toronto Raptors are expected to trade Pascal Siakam before the trade deadline. Per Tim Bontemps, league sources expect Toronto to move on from two-time All-Star forward Pascal Siakam before the trade deadline. Now, of course, this isn't the first time we're hearing Pascal Siakam rumors. We have been hearing it all of this season, and even during the offseason, the Raptors reportedly tried to trade him to the Atlanta Hawks, but ultimately the deal did not go through. Now, there's also some very interesting news as well, because a team that hasn't really been linked to Pascal Siakam may have a little bit of a difficulty dealing with the Toronto Raptors after some news. But let's talk about this Twitter page that always mysteriously posts sources, but they have been right quite a few times. And this was being reported by NBA Trade Report. Sources: Warriors will be looking to move Chris Paul before the NBA trade deadline. Two Eastern Conference teams have already shown interest. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the Raptors? I will get to that in just a moment. But my speculation is those two Eastern Conference teams, at least one of them has to be the Miami Heat or 76ers. And my guess is that one of them is the Toronto Raptors. Now, you're probably asking why? Well, because Chris B. Haynes was reporting the Golden State Warriors are a team to watch for Pascal Siakam. There's a wild horse team out there that I've been told to look out for by rival executives. Golden State Warriors. I do ultimately think this will be the trade deadline where Pascal Siakam is eventually moved. Now, why is there a twist in all of this? Well, because we got some news after the Warriors game, and that was that Chris Paul had fractured his hand and he will be required surgery to recover from that injury. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the Pascal Siakam trade rumors? When you take a look at the Warriors salary cap situation here, you'll notice that Chris Paul was one of those players, who's making $30 million, and there's been all sorts of speculations and rumors amongst fans only that, maybe that's a piece that could come back for someone like a Pascal Siakam who's making around $38 million. And of course, the Warriors do have some other intriguing pieces as well. Now, why was Chris Paul thrown out there? I think because of the length of his contract. His contract isn't too long, and even though he's making a ton of money for his age, he's still a contract that you can easily flip. He's also been someone that has monitored young players really well. Pretty much every team he has gone to. So he would have been a great addition to the Raptors. But now this complicates things in terms of salary a little bit, because Andrew Wiggins is the next big salary you probably look to acquire if you want to make salaries work a little bit for the Toronto Raptors. But I'm not sure they want to take on someone like Andrew Wiggins, who has not only been really struggling, but look at the length of that contract. He's locked in until 2026, 27. I don't think the Raptors would want to contract that long. And this complicates a little bit because some of the names we've been hearing about, who the Raptors may have wanted in the past. Jonathan Kuminga was the name linked to the Raptors last season when there's reports about, the Raptors potentially trading OG Anunoby to the Warriors. And that was the name that comes to mind. Now, Brandon Prondinsky was also another name. Moses Moody is a name we keep hearing a lot of from amongst the fans that, the Raptors may target one of the young guys to pair up with Scottie Barnes. So again, this complicates a little bit more because now all of a sudden the Warriors don't have a lot of salary to throw in there. I don't think they'll trade Draymond Green in a package for Pascal Siakam. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. But it gets a little bit more complicated when we talk about salary fillers, right? So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But there's also another Western Conference team that was being linked to the Toronto Raptors. And that was the Sacramento Kings are a serious suitor for Pascal Siakam, according to Shams Charania. A lot of Raptors fans on Twitter pretty much stated this as well. When you take a look at the Sacramento Kings roster, there's been rumors that they want to get rid of someone like a Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter as well. But combining those two salaries, there's not a lot of young assets. I know people will see Davion Mitchell, and realistically speaking, the only real target there is Keegan Murray. Now, I do want to say before you guys go at me in the comment section, Absolutely understandable. From a Kings point of view, you wouldn't want to give up Keegan Murray. I mean, you take a look at this from a Raptors point of view. The Raptors, during after his rookie season, they didn't want to dangle Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant, nor did they want to trade him for someone like a Damian Lillard, even after his second season in the NBA when he struggled. So I can see the Kings' point of view of where this is going. And obviously, Shams Charania reported several hours later that the Sacramento Kings are deciding to pull out of the Pascal Siakam talks. Sources say things can be fluid, but Kings and Raptors talks are now over. So again, not really surprising. There's not a lot that the Sacramento Kings can give us as well. And I mean, those two future first round picks they can give us are 2028 and 2030. So let's move on to our next trade rumor here. And this was another report here by NBA Central. Shout out to them. The Detroit Pistons are looking to looking to buy win now players and could show interest in Pascal Siakam, according to Jake L. Fisher. The Pistons keep signaling to opposing executives an interest in buying, sources said, instead of selling veterans from the league's lowest team. It also went on to state that the Pistons will aggressively pursue Pascal Siakam. Now, again, no disrespect to the Pistons. They do have a lot of young, good players that the Raptors could look to target in return, but I just don't see the desperation from the Pistons side to really throw that much out for an expiring contract like Pascal Siakam. They do also have a ton of money they can spend in free agency, but taking a quick look at the Pistons roster here, you'll notice, like, even when you're trying to match salaries, you'll probably have to acquire one of Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman as well, or maybe even Joe Harris or Bojan Bogdanovic. But I don't see Bojan, going anywhere. Joe Harris is, I mean, he's an expiring contract, but let's be honest, he's not really a good player you'd want in return. Marvin Bagley, even though he's young, and same with James Wiseman, those are, I mean, we know what their potential is in the NBA by now, right? So again, unless the Pistons want to give up Oscar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, which I know for a fact they would not. It just like a deal here just does not seem probable with the Pistons for that reason. So again, I don't want to go too much into the Pistons. Again, they have a ton of money they can spend in free agency. So I just don't think from a team's point of view, they may be that desperate to acquire someone like Pascal Siakam. And last but not least, I want to bring this report out that came earlier today, and this was being reported by Basketball on X. Shout out to them. They also post some amazing content. Go check them out on Twitter. But it pretty much went on to state that chatter amongst NBA executives surrounding Siakam's potential landing spots are now centered on Indiana, Sacramento, and Detroit. We've heard about Detroit and Sacramento already. Indiana has been a team I have linked to them in the past few days. And obviously, they do have some young assets as well. And there was actually some reports today that the Indiana Pacers were very close to landing OG Anunoby. We know, obviously, the deal got done with the Knicks as well. So it just really sparks a curiosity how desperate a team like the Indiana Pacers might be, right? I haven't taken a look at the standings, but I'm assuming they're around the 7th, 8th position. So again, they're kind of in that playing spot. So I could see the Indiana Pacers being a little bit more desperate, right? They do have some money to spend, but I just don't think they'll have enough money to spend on someone like a Pascal Siakam. So then you're looking for, good starters, not an all-star like Pascal Siakam. So pretty much what I stated in the last video, I think the Pacers should definitely go for it, right? Although Tyrese is young, he's someone that wants to win. He said that publicly, that he hates losing. So I don't know. If I'm the Pacers personally, I do the deal. How much are you willing to give up is obviously the big question mark. And of course, Pascal Siakam has constantly stated he won't sign with anyone besides the Toronto Raptors. So that is the point that, a lot of teams are worried about when they're trading for Pascal Siakam. But one quick point, guys, I'd like to make before we end this video is I hear so many fans out there, and, obviously the reason that the Raptors are looking to trade Pascal Siakam is because he's an expiring contract and his new contract is going to be easily $40+ million. Now, I think the one factor that not a lot of fans take into consideration is this new TV deal is going to kick off in the offseason. Now, let's use a player example on the Boston Celtics. Now, taking a look at the salary of someone like a Jaylen Brown, who's 27 years old, about 2 years or so younger than Pascal Siakam. You look at his new contract in his first year, he's going to be making $49.7 million. So when people say, Pascal Siakam shouldn't be making more than Stephen Curry, you do need to keep in mind that the new TV deal is definitely going to inflate salaries like crazy. We're just seeing the beginning of it, which is why it looks so inflated. Again, 2-3 seasons from now, $50 million is going to be quite normal. And I suspect, guys like Luka, guys like Nikola Jokic are probably going to be making $65-70 million easily. And I mean, even when you look at Jaylen Brown, right? Like by 2028, 2029, he's going to be making 65 million. And Jalen Brown, you could argue, Pascal Siakam's better than him. So I don't understand this point of view from fans where, I understand the salary cap is a huge issue for the Raptors because you will have to pay Emmanuel quickly. You do have to extend Scotty Barnes in the offseason as well. But to me, just logically thinking, I think you should extend Pascal Siakam. He's one of the few shot creators on the Raptors, and they look better with him than without him as well on the offensive side. So, again, those are my thoughts on this. I want to hear from you guys. Which team out of the ones listed and potential, like the Warriors, are the most intriguing for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And since we've been talking about some of the new guys, let's talk about Pascal Siakam, who may potentially leave the Raptors based on some of the reports we've been hearing. So which college did Pascal Siakam play for? Was it A, New Mexico State? Was it B, Washington State? Was it C, Nevada? Or was it D, Colorado State? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.